like this, it's like, it comes in pieces sometimes, yeah.
I've heard yours.
Just enough for 2 teams.
I think so. I can't. Hey, could I? Is there any Brandy? Is there any way that I could get on like the tablet and do this, before I could keep my phone free?
How did it come through to you?
To my email.
Your email?
Yeah.
Is it a Gmail
No.
or Yahoo?
Chad, I'm muted. Still.
There you go.
Adjust your camera. We just
Well-
see from a nose up. There you
Brandy's trying to get it on the laptop.
You look much better.
Well, thank you.
Okay, let's see, is everybody here? About one minute to go, so.
Hey, Chad.
Yeah.
Could you send that link to Brandy's email, and then I could pull it up on hers?
Okay, what is
Is that something to do?
Yeah, what's the email?
Brandy with a Y 75 at msn.com.
Well, Berkeley has done a ton of work, and it's getting there. Getting there. I have thought a lot about it. I've always thought about, where's mine? No, you don't have it. I've got it right here. I was trying to see what was first on our agenda.
Yes, I've got mine on here too. Well, I believe it is 5:30, and everybody is here. So we'll call ourselves to order, and our agenda is the notice of a special meeting. So we will simply stick to those 3 items and call ourselves to order. So let's see, the resolution. Heather, you want to talk about that or?
Yes, there are actually 2. The
Yes.
first one is a resolution for us to, and Chad, I don't have a copy of it in front of me, but I know you,
Here,
I've got it right here. I'll look at this.
Yes.
This is a resolution by the governing body that, basically allows the town to seek application for the $1.36 million for the water, plant, improvements. We're hoping that 25% of that is gonna be grant. That's about $340,000. That would be very nice. But Michelle Ball with the COG has been working very hard to get this in. It has to be in Raleigh by the 30th of this month. So they needed this resolution passed. And then the second one is, the second one, well,
Is that one the same or?
it should be another one.
Yes,
Yes,
okay.
the second one is where we need to update our asset management and capital improvement plan. Move some things around, and actually, they made an attempt based on the information they had at McGill to add some additional information on manholes, identifying them on the map for the project area, and also for valves on the map, just because apparently DEQ has kind of changed their criteria for what your asset management plan has to say. And we actually lost some points on this last round of CDBGI funding because it didn't have this information in it. So they're updating it to try to put as much information as they can for this particular application. So there are two resolutions. One is a resolution by the governing body of the applicant. And so we'll need a motion and a vote on that.
Okay, shall we do that one first?
Yeah, why don't we do them separately? Because I
Okay,
think for
so-
the minutes, Michelle will probably need that.
She would like that. So we'll entertain a motion for consideration of the resolution by applicant for the CWSRF loan grant.
I make that motion.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, are we all in agreement? Thank you, Russell.
And then the second resolution is to adopt an amendment to the town of Burnsville's water and sewer asset management and capital improvement plan.
Okay,
And that's that one.
okay, thank you. So you, Kevin, you know what we're talking about. And so is there a motion for us to adopt this amendment?
I make that motion that we adopt the amendment. We have to.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
I'll
there's-
second.
Okay, are we all in agreement? No second.
Yes.
So both are unanimous.
And Chad, I don't know if Michelle needs, there wasn't a certificate by the recording officer on that second one, but I don't know if she needs that or not. So we'll just ask her.
I'll check.
We've got a bunch of stuff to sign and she'll be by Monday afternoon to pick up. So we'll get it. We'll get the mayor's signature on
Okay,
those. And Chad has originals, so after the meeting,
yes,
you can
I'm
get your,
kind of used to that. Okay.
yeah, you're used to being stuck signing stuff.
Okay, so now we've, where is my notice? Okay, so we've done, now, we will go to item number 2. Is
Yep.
that correct? East Main Sidewalk Repair Project, is that for you, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, so the East Main project, sidewalk goes from courthouse down to, that property right there, too.
Down to, well, it's gonna go, initially, we had hoped to take it all the way down the hill to across from Mazagan Lane.
Yeah, so.
But we got the revised budget, due to increase in materials costs, and it went up to $131,000. So from about 79,
Oh,
No,
Lord.
it's 121,
was it 121?
or 105,
Yeah,
105. 'cause
so it was a
town-
significant
ours was-
decrease.
Our town part was like 49 or something like that, 49 or 50,000. For our part, the county was gonna chip in
Yes.
their portion, both combined was about 105,000. Then with cost of goods, materials going up, concrete went up like 15-20 bucks per yard.
Yeah.
So,
So,
Did the county go in with us?
no,
Mhm.
so
Too bad.
without the county funds, and also there's in front of the Holcomb home, Harlan's home, there's a retaining wall that would have been lost in the demolition of the sidewalk. And repairing that or building that back would have been an additional cost too. So the proposed revised scope of the project is to do sidewalk, where the sidewalk is just completely deteriorated in front of the green apartments on the north side. And then to start, I believe, not necessarily at the corner, because the state is repairing all those handicap ramps.
basically from where that light pole,
Yeah,
right there, the power line, and then all the way down to that house.
all the way down to right before you get to the
Oh,
Holcomb
okay.
house.
Okay.
And the price on that is $68,500.
Who owns the Who's the property now?
Dennis Howe does. And now there was a for sale sign. I don't know if he sold it or not, but there won't be any sidewalk in front of that. There's that little strip. But because our zoning ordinance requires new development to add sidewalk, if someone buys it and does something with it, they would be required to put in sidewalk there. So we thought we were not gonna put it back where it is if somebody buys it and wants to do something with it and needs to just,
That
Tear it up
sidewalk
to the
goes
driveway.
back to a long time ago.
it does. It's barely there. But
That's fine.
but it doesn't go to anywhere. Nobody
No,
uses
I
it,
know.
so.
I know, that's true. Okay, so,
So,
The county,
still
No
have
dollars.
we had discussions back and forth, and of course, they have a lot of projects going, and that was the word that I got. We've got a lot going on.
So do we.
that's what I was thinking.
So,
So are you saying that what we're doing is continuous from wherever we start to wherever we end, or it's piecemeal?
no, it would be continuous.
It's
Yeah,
continuous.
so on
Yeah.
the south side of the road of East Main, it's
The courthouse side,
courthouse side, they go all the way down to the 80 ramp in front of, whatever he said his name was, house.
the Holcomb House.
The Holcomb House, okay.
And then on the other side where the bank is, they've replaced part of their sidewalk, and we're gonna start where they ended and run that
Yeah.
all the way down to the ADA ramp in front of
The 90s,
apartment
maybe,
area.
yeah.
Okay.
And it will, we're replacing, there's some drain issues that are crushed, those will be replaced, so that should help with the runoff and the water. And I'm trying to think.
Is
The
it
curb.
this company that's doing what's being done right now? Because it looks like they've done a really nice job.
No, that's with DOT. That's
Oh, is that the DOT? Well,
That's DOT.
Who is
Okay.
going to be doing the sidewalk?
It's Rock Creek Grading Company, Sam Boone, Nick Stiles. And I have prepared the contracts and we're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that running a lineal foot, just out of curiosity, have you done that conversion?
Yeah, per foot, I can give you, we'd have to do the math, Russell, 547 linear feet, a 5-foot sidewalk, which would be what's on the side, on the south side,
Okay,
no, on the north side, is 26,419. Right, Leslie's got a
4830,
4830.
okay.
is that right?
Yeah, and then the curb. What do we got? 787 linear feet of 6-inch curb is 28,341. And then on the side, on the south side where you know how the sidewalk is in front of the courthouse, it's like part of it's concrete and then there's that part that's asphalt that's all caved in.
Yes.
Yeah,
To just repair it all, make it all, uniform. That was 190 linear feet of 6-inch. So, or 6 foot, I'm sorry, 6 foot. 9,939.
okay. I was just seeing what the lineal foot cost was on that.
Yeah. It's about 48.
It was 48 on that first one, that last one, I didn't catch how much, and then 36 on that.
On the curb.
78,
On the curb was $36 foot.
yeah.
Okay. All right, I was just curious.
Total is what, so I don't have to figure it up.
The total is $68,500. And we had budgeted 70. So,
Okay,
That'll work.
it will.
okay, so if you all are, you'd already approved the budget to do it, but if I could just get a motion to approve the revised contract or the revised project and to authorize the mayor to sign the contracts.
I'll take a motion on that.
I'll make it.
I'll ask you to repeat it.
No.
Who will get the second?
Hey, quick question. Hey,
Okay.
Are they, and I have no problem with them whatsoever, but are they licensed?
Yeah, they're licensed and insured. Their license numbers on the bottom of that.
Yeah, on the bottom of the quote, they do have a license.
Okay, because they had borrowed mine in the past, and I should making sure.
Well, it's a limited highway license, Russell.
Okay, well, that
That
covers
covers
it.
it. Okay, I
Okay,
just saw license. I'll make sure.
we have a motion on the floor and a second. Are we all in agreement? Thank you. It's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so is there anything else there that we need to discuss before we go on to our next items?
I think so.
Okay,
Who did the second?
I did, but then Russell was asking us that question, and I
Yes.
didn't know if you wanted to second it or not.
No, we're back to you second.
Okay.
It's carried. Okay, all righty. Dylan, any other words for us about anything you wish to know?
Three plant is back up and running.
That's
So
good.
that's good news. Everything went really smooth and easy. And the only thing that we'll have to take the plant down one more time, and that'll be September, I believe, around the eight-month mark of the anemic coating. And basically what we're doing is we're gonna take the plant down in order for Genesis to come back up here. Any rust spots that are showing through, they'll grind it down and then recoat it so that
Yeah.
it's set right. Other than that, everything's put back to the way it was. We had McGill come back up to look over the plans of how the plant was, and there were a few things missing that Genesis took care of that without no additional cost to us. I think that's, pump station's still going on. They're doing electrical right now. Pump's supposed to be here at the end of April. They said it might get here next week, but they haven't heard anything from them yet. And then once those get here, it'll be ready to set the pumps and pour the concrete pad and all that stuff, so it should go pretty quick after that.
Well, sounds like you're gonna leave us in good hands.
I noticed we were advertising for somebody to work at the water plant. What did I?
Oh, yeah, Daniel quit.
Daniel Sellers quit.
Daniel
Surprise.
He went to another job, but didn't he?
Yes.
Okay, any other questions before we move on to any other questions dealing with item 1 and 2, before we go on to item number 3? Okay, then I will yield to, Leslie and Heather to get us started with the budget for fiscal year 21-22.
Oh, yes,
The floor is yours.
okay. Heather, you want to say it first?
I mean, I was just gonna say, that we want to let Dylan, because we've sort of staggered so that every department head doesn't have to sit here through the whole
Yeah,
thing.
that's
Do
fine.
we want to go through his
Yeah,
budget
sure.
That's
first?
fine. We'll start with the street if you want to. It's up in your general fund, so we'll just go off.
Okay, that page row. Let's see to that.
It's gonna be the 560 and the pages are actually not numbered. Let's see, hold on, let me count.
About midway through your packet.
Yeah.
560.
Let's see, my face is right, it's all right.
Here, you've got
Oh,
this
okay,
right here.
for the
Look for that.
Let's see.
Now,
Looks like
that's not
it's
it.
page
That's the
6.
thing.
Page 11.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. If you
Street.
want-
Street.
Yeah,
Street 560.
That's where you're at.
It's like page 11. The total at the bottom is 204,588.
On this sheet right here.
Okay, we've got budget versus actuals out as well, in case you want to keep up, because we tried just to base it on the 9-month average with the end of March, and that's the end of the quarter. and that'll be page 12. There's no honest much difference in this budget, especially the street side. If you want to, has everybody found their place?
Yeah, street 560.
Yep. Okay, so we're gonna be working on this requested call. Starting out with salaries. It's just a little higher. You know, they've worked a lot, had a lot of breaks, and, you know, it's the whole deal all the time. So that's just going up just a little. Insurance, FICA is increased just a little to offset those costs. The bonus longevity, the retirement match is the first one. This is the first one you'll see. The state retirement system has raised, they went over a full point increase on the employer portion. So it's made a big difference, in the actual overall budget. Like on the water sewer side, it's like $13,000. So, and you'll notice it's, you know, $1,100 on these two people. 401k uniforms has gone down a little. Electric maintenance, same. Electric streetlights, same. Building and ground, same. Square maintenance is the same. Street maintenance is the same. Signage and supplies, same. Electric for the restrooms is the same. Equipment maintenance, the same. Auto maintenance and repairs, that's the same. Fuel, the same. Workers' comp and liability, that is just, you know, we split it by departments, and that's just up a little. Tools and rental is the same. Ocean traffic is the same. And this municipal parking lot repair, if you'll remember that, we amended the budget for that insurance check where the lady backed in and done the damage on the wall at the municipal parking lot. So overall, the only increase is that little bit in salary and the retirement. Sorry, Dylan. Is there anything you wanted to say? It was just pretty much the same.
It was
Kind
the
of cut
same.
and dry.
Yeah.
Pretty-
We'll have much money to work with.
No,
No.
no, I know, that's one,
Things go crazy.
Yeah,
that's one thing
a
about
lot
it.
of overtime. But, yeah.
Yeah, okay, the next one is Dylan's as well, and it's PAL bill 570, so if you'll just flip the next page. Okay. Everybody see that one? Okay. All right, this, you know, is the state gas tax that they give us back. All right, the first line's the snow removal, the same. Hopefully we won't use that much for snow removal anytime soon, but it's still at 10. Street maintenance and construction, 1,500. Miscellaneous expense, 500. That's like for PAL maps, some kind of anything we have to pay McGill to do those ever so often. And then paving at 39,000. And pretty much this, we have to make this budget match the revenues that they send, and this is in an account by itself, so it's no, you know, you just gotta make it work to that. So who might pave? He, Shane, whoever it is may pave the street with this 39 next year. Or do something.
And this is an account we can, I don't know, Denise, we talked about this, but I'm not about PAL money. I don't know if I'd mentioned, we can
Right.
save up to, I think,
I think
5
years, is that what it is?
I think it's 5 years. So we have some savings. I mean, we have paving plan for this spring. And there may be actually some street maintenance and construction down on Meadow Road where a culvert box is collapsed on us, or damaged or something. So, we're looking at that, but it just is what it is.
Yeah.
Whatever they send us, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
yeah.
so they've, I mean, I told Heather it's gone down like from 58, 51 over like the past 10 years, it's decreasing,
I
but
thought it was gonna go up a little this year.
no, they had thought, they did not even know how to project it, so I'd asked Dylan to wait till the spring to actually see what we had got. But it's held, so it's good.
Okay.
All right, so we'll move on to the next page, which is sanitation. Lucky Dillon as well. Not much here either. But anyway, that is just for the trash pickup. And then, on the budget highlights, I had put that we've increased this second line on the miscellaneous, expenses and sanitation, that, we're increasing it by $5,500 for up to 100 new larger recycling bin with wheels. We're budgeting for 100, but not expecting to purchase that many. We're gonna try a few and see how many, how many we have
This-
requests for.
Yes, this comes from a citizen, some citizen requests, that we're looking at. I mean, they wanted us to add in another, another full day of recycling pickup every week, but that was just not possible in the budget. I mean, that would be another almost $27,000 increase. So we're trying to think of ways we can accommodate people who recycle a lot and don't want
Put money
like
in the
5 or
pot.
6 small, and these would be, I think are they 30 gallon? 32 gallon with wheels and a lid, maybe easier for people to maneuver in and out to the road. And
I'm just curious, Leslie, with the new company, I mean, did we save money going with them?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, but how much? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I don't remember, Teresa.
Okay,
Honestly, I do not remember.
well, and part of that was, we stopped the small business
Yeah.
pickup, part of that savings.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Did they-
and we switched recycling to every other week instead of every week.
So it wasn't a matter of so much of switching companies, it's switching schedules and,
Yeah, switching schedules
Yeah.
more than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask, if we get, say, some of these receptacles, which I think is a nice idea for some people. I'm one of those people that's got, cardboard boxes and whatnot, but not a whole lot. Now, I've learned to adjust to this and I'm doing fine with it. But then I know there are some people that have a mountain of those cardboard boxes and whatnots, and would those people just be given one of these, which I think is fine, or would they have to pay something to get one of those?
Our thoughts were that it would be just like the blue boxes, you would just,
Well,
if
that
you
would be,
wanted one,
I
you would
mean,
get
I'm
'em.
not against that. I think that's fine, because some people definitely, big families need them.
Yeah.
I've witnessed it. And I think that would be very nice.
And I think that actually the proposal, when we was changing, the Republic hadn't give us an increase in a long time, and they were gonna, really increase the price. So we really didn't save a huge amount of money. It was just making the adjustment for what the new price was gonna be.
Yeah, about 100 pounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
so. Okay, any questions about that one? Okay, we'll move on to water and sewer revenues. Okay. All right, has everybody found that?
yes.
Okay. First line's interest. I mean, nobody's making any interest anymore. Application fees, we had a little, but now with the moratorium, we're probably not gonna be getting any applications till that's lifted, so we've lifted it 1,000. Water charges, I have based this, conservatively on a 3% increase. And then sewer, same thing. Sewer, are always falling under budget. We don't have as many sewer customers, and it just always seems to fall that way. It's like the water revenues are always more than we think, and the sewer are always less. But this is both based on a 3% and a conservative estimate at that. Water connection fees, same as last year at $7,500. Sewer connection fees, $1,500. Late fees, that has, that's been a big line. So we're already at 26.5 as of the end of March. So I've increased it to 30. The system development fee, same as last year at 75. Fire protection, same thing because the average is pretty much right on target with it. Conservation fees up a little because based on the average as well. Reconnection, just a couple $100 just because, you may not get it. Sale of labor and materials, same thing, just 1,000. The East Yancey, we've left it here because we're not really sure when exactly the changeover is going to be.
We
No.
think in the fall, I mean, they should be done with their construction by the end of September. And then I know I have a meeting next week with Lynn and Billy Clark and Donnie, their attorneys, about the process of the transfer. And so maybe we'll know a little more. Hopefully we'll know a lot more. But obviously, they will have a full year
Yeah.
of having to pay us,
So we might tweak that in the next time we see it. But no COVID funds that we know of right yet. We'll adjust if we get these in June, and then we'll adjust accordingly. Miscellaneous revenue, $7,500. That's like where the French Broad dividends, that'll go there. I split it with the general fund and different things, just hits there that doesn't have a place anywhere else. And no, with the COVID-19 advancement fund.
and I think that line, that 395 line for the COVID funds it'll change to the ARP line. I don't think they're calling them
Yeah.
COVID money now. but
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. that might-
Okay.
Huh?
Well, on that late fees line item, will that be impacted in any way due to COVID? I mean, will there be any relief or anything on that, or?
Interestingly enough, I think what it was from March until June, we couldn't charge any late fees. So the figure you're seeing here is, what's been collected, taking that part of it out, but we don't anticipate.
Yeah.
that
And we've
there'll be-
actually collected already 26.5, crazy
Yeah.
enough.
Right.
We're taking 3 months out of the year already, so.
What do we generally collect?
Well, it's in the 20s usually, I think we had kind of agreed to stay with at least a 3% increase. And we have a lot of large infrastructure projects on the horizon that we're going to have to fund. And we're hoping to do grants and loans, but there's also, there's going to be some loans because we can't get it out. And we just feel like we're doing our part, to increase gradually and not have to kill somebody at one time with it. But anyway, and it looks better for us to keep our rates, I think, going up to you with the grants.
Yeah, well, I think some of them, if we do anything with a long-term grant with USDA, that's going to be on a revenue bond eventually, and they'll require us they'll tell us what the rates will have to be. Now, my understanding is once we're entered into the SOC with the state, that will qualify us for USDA's poverty rate, which means a portion, they'll come in and do a rate study and say, this is where you need to be. But they'll look at what's reasonable, and anything over that, they should backstop with grant funds, is what our hope is. So they would make up the difference from where we need to be and where we can be.
Yeah.
But for the state, they want you to be over $35 for 5,000 gallons. So we're in that kind of range, but
Yeah.
we're nowhere near where some places our size are, and a lot of it is just repairing this infrastructure.
Say no more.
Yeah. Yeah, and in this budget highlights down here on the water sewer revenues, you'll see, and it'll tell you, it's gonna together increase the revenues by 59,000. it's gonna, have a combined effect of 59 if we do a 3% on both. Okay. All right, any questions? All right, we'll move on to the water side. Okay, the first line here,
Now, where are we now? Just flipping the page? or
yeah,
just-
yeah, and it should say water 810.
Okay.
Okay. You have a specific salary adjustments. And let's see, I was gonna see if you wanna look like on Heather's salary, we had looked and, to be more accurate with the salary and what she does, her job, that kind of thing, we've broken it out. And it's no money increase, it's just that it's broken out different. So if you were to go to replace her, you'd have to find a lawyer. It's not like, even have, so what we've done is that the second line here, we've made in-house counsel, 12.5. You'll see it on the water side. You'll see it on the 420 side on the admin. We look at that as well. And we just decreased this administrator salary for that and increased that. Town clerk, there's half a Chad there. The public works director, the new proposed rate, the water treatment plant increased just a little, surprisingly enough. Water treatment or water crewman, a little bit, because that's the trend with their average. I needed to increase it a little. Utility clerks, no different. The overtime, I've increased it small because, it is what it is. They're working a lot. We have some issues. Bonus is the Christmas and longevity. Professional services, we've increased to account for the engineering, the possible engineering to Little Leaf. So,
On those grants.
yeah, for those grants. Okay, healthcare, it's a little less. And it's, it's what it is. FICA, a little bit of increase because those others have increased. Retirement, you can notice here, there's that big increase we were talking about.
What did that go to from, Leslie, from?
Lord, it was 10 something. It was just barely 10 if it was even that. Now it's 11.35.
Just
And it was
on
actually big
general
last
employees?
year. It was a big increase, yeah.
Yeah.
It's on all employees this time. Okay, 401k match, retiree health care, uniforms, same. We're deleting the line for the water treatment plant telephone and just increasing the telephone cell in general. That's just pretty much everybody's there. Utilities at the water treatment plant, we were able to decrease that because that's the average, looks like. Pump station, we've decreased that a little based on the average. Postage and office supplies the same. Machine labor, that's like the copier, it's the same. Training and travel, we've left it up there, but it's decreased just a little. Dues and subscriptions, the same thing, because you have to pay a lot for these permits to the state for the water and sewer. You'd be surprised, it's a lot. SCADA, or contracted services SCADA, we've reduced that because I think this year's been a little less, but in times past it's been higher, so we still won't have enough room to be able to cover it if we have more expense. Maintenance agreement software, that's where we're at. That covers Janus, that covers the support fees, part of the support fees for Southern, and then the other things we have to do, Gmail and stuff. Out-of-state sales tax, we get that back. It's just I have to turn it in to the Department of Revenue and pay it annually, monthly. Tech upgrades in case somebody needs a laptop or somebody needs, a computer anywhere. That's covered with that for the water side. Building and grounds maintenance, we've increased that a little because, we're looking to do maybe a little work at
We're
the,
thinking about some of the areas that particularly take a long time and a lot of effort to mow and weed eat. Up at the water plant, that we may just landscape those with some mulch and rock and stuff like that to keep the labor down as far as having to weed eat all the time. And on Azalea out at the maintenance shed too, there's a big bank that, you know, we're trying to cut down on the amount we have to mow and weed eat.
yeah. Equipment maintenance and repair is up just a little, but I'm sure we'll, you know, we'll cover it. If not, won't spend it. Auto maintenance and repair, it's still the same as last year. Fuel, we've increased that a little just because gas prices has gone up. Water treatment supplies, same as last year. Ricky's, and they fixed a lot of leaks, done some tweaking. You've done a good job keeping Ricky in line, and Ricky's doing a good job. So, okay, infrastructure supplies, just a little bit, just a little increase because it looks like we may need one. Gravel and asphalt, okay, if they're gonna start fixing some line repair, is that correct, Dylan?
Basically, like, the plan is going through this spring into like early fall, and just having to keep up with, rural water coming up, locate leaks, and try to knock out, 2, 3, or 10, just different weeks, and then, keep gradually getting better, knocking down the amount of water we're losing from the water plant just going into the ground, and being able to, I guess I can't talk now. Right out of my face. But yeah, basically we'll be able to decrease the amount of chemicals being used because we're not having a lot of water loss the more leaks we fix. So yes, we're increasing lease line, but the end goal is to be able to decrease the water treatment supplies and then decrease those lines once we start really getting a lot of repairs done.
I mean, they have made a big difference because early on in the first of the year, I had projected Ricky's line, the water plant supplies was gonna be 150,000. And it's made a world of difference so far.
That's
So they've done great. They have done great. All right, so water analysis and testing. I think we hadn't spent as much, but then I think it depends on if there's something that happens that needs to be tested, which could happen more often.
A contingency plan.
Yeah, kind of. Yes, yep. Tools and rental equipment on the second page, it's a little less. OSHA and traffic safety. So I think we were actually preparing to actually spend some money out of this for supplies. General supplies and material, this is just like a catch-all if they need Gatorade, water, some kind of thing like that. No COVID fund there. Miscellaneous operational expenses. All right. This is what we used to call employee miscellaneous affairs.
So we need to change the name on that.
Yeah.
We're not having any miscellaneous affairs.
Yeah, yeah.
Between employees.
Yeah, no specific affairs either. So it was the Christmas party line this year. We actually increased the Christmas bonuses since we couldn't have a party. And seems like everybody really liked that. But Heather had some really good ideas about what she'd like to do for employees all through the year, kind of.
Well, we had kind of thought about, as they set goals and meet milestones, having smaller kind of celebrations or incentives or things like that. Rewards, yes. And y'all will hear more about this in May, but the third week of May is, at our May meeting, the third week of May is like National Public Works Appreciation Week. And we want to do something for the guys then. They like to have cookouts during their lunch, things like that. We're not hearing from the employee base, and of course we can do a survey and find out, but that have, Christmas is such a busy time for people with families. You know, you have church, you have school functions, you have lots of times families are not celebrating all at one time, but separate weeks. And it's usually not a great weather time to get out. You never know what the weather's gonna do. So, you know, what we kind of heard was that they would appreciate, they weren't as excited about having one large party, but maybe some smaller things along the way to mark milestones of when they achieve things. So that's something we can talk about, but that's why we just kind of put that money there to see how that went.
And more departmental thing than everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. Okay, so workers' comp, yeah, that is just how much it's costing. COVID, no more. OPEB, 25,000, which is same as last year. Capital outlay. All right now there's not really any capital outlay money in this year's budget, so I'm nervous, but anyway. Okay, any questions on the water? Dylan, you have any questions?
So what do we do if there is a capital outlay crisis?
Well, we're gonna hope there's not one, but,
Well, I agree with that.
but,
As we
Then-
fix all this stuff, we hope that we're having to spend money for capital outlay, that's for sure.
I know.
but
I
it's-
guess we just voted on capital outlay, didn't we?
Yeah.
Earlier.
Yeah.
well, we have a plan, a little bit of a plan to help us with it.
Yeah, we've been looking at our debt service. In our oldest I&I, we cut that down to
Oh, it's for something.
it's less than 470, I know
Yeah,
that,
it's-
because you just
yeah.
made a big payment. And we have to pay about $50,000 a year. And our thought with the infrastructure money that we should be getting and the money we've gotten back in reimbursements for grants has boosted our
Back to our savings.
savings, gotten it back up to where it needs to be. You know, that would be at that time the only, if we get this other loan, that's the only debt service that we're actually gonna be paying interest payments on. The others were at zero interest and hopefully a significant amount of grant for the next one. And our thought was in December to look at it and possibly pay it off, which would save us
$50,000.
$50-some thousand.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, the debt, or the interest is 9,000 a year. So
That's the interest, and then we pay another about 40,000, 39,000 on the principal. So-
yeah, and so we would have had capital outlay this year, but you'll see as we get on through sewer, we're having to actually start and prepare for the OMC pump station loan payment. It will be May of 2022, so just barely. But you go from paying 40-some to, it's over 100, so.
Yeah.
So that way it would free up the budget.
Yeah.
But
If we were able to pay that off in December.
it would be very helpful.
And that's barring any crazy crisis that we have to dip into that, but if we can maintain it where it's gonna be, paying that off is probably the smarter thing to do.
Okay, all right, on the sewer, back to the proposed public works salary, sewer plant operator line. Okay, has everybody found your place? Sorry. Okay. Increase just a little. The labor lines, that's for the crew, increase that just a little. Overtime, increase that just a little. Mine, decrease that a little. Professional services, we've actually kept that the same because, you know, there's a lot of engineering needs to be done on the sewer side. Healthcare match, it's increased a little. FICA, a little bit, bonus, not. Retirement, yes, you'll see again. It's huge. 401k a little. Retiree healthcare, it's a little bit. Uniforms has decreased a little. Telephones decreased a little. Electric at the sewer treatment plant has decreased quite a bit. Electric at the pump station's the same. Baker's Creek pump station is up just based on the average. Postage and supplies is the same. Training and travel is up just because you're gonna have to send somebody, you know, to some classes. Dues and subscriptions is the very same. Contract services is the same. All right, you'll notice this is the water quality line, the ORC for the sewer plant. Dylan, you know, priced it out, got some other quotes, and he saved us, you know, a lot of money. And this is good through December, the contract.
And so then we'll be back to deciding whether we want to bring the ORC in-house or whether we want to contract it out again, and we should have cost comparisons for y'all to look at that time.
I do have rural water coming up to hang out with Chad for a few days at a time and kind of go over, like the DMRs, which is like the reports, daily monitoring reports. And then going over like, so the thing I like about rural water with ORC coming in-house is they'll actually do all of our, permits. So we'll do all that stuff and we pay, I don't know, we pay a year for them.
Oh, gosh. For rural water,
Yeah,
not much.
It's not much, I think it's
No.
$500, I think.
I don't even know if it's
And
that much.
so, yeah, so like, it's kind of a steal in a way, like, we can take that take that out of the budget and, you know, we don't have to pay for that except for the annual fee. I'll do that and then, if like we get NOVs and stuff like that, they will review them and or write them for us if it's something like super complicated. But he's gonna come up and hang out with Chad for a few days at a time, per month and kind of go over everything that it takes to become an ORC. And kind of get him ready for the game in the future, depending on what you guys decide. I'll figure it out.
It's all right. Okay. You're up. Okay. Then the next line is maintenance agreement software, same thing. Tech upgrades, a small amount in case they need anything. Building maintenance and repair, same as last year. Equipment maintenance and repair, we reduced that a little bit just because the average. Auto maintenance and repair, it's a little bit less because we haven't spent anything on that side. Fuel, we've increased it just a little, but if you look at the actual that, I don't know if you remember, I brought a budget amendment to actually account for that, and it was where that those temporary pumps ran for the force main repair there at Glen Raven, and we had paid for it out of this line, but we've been compensated, and I need to go ahead and repay us for that. And we've got just wastewater treatment supplies and material. That's the same, and that might actually be a little less, but it's the same. Well, we might not end up spending as much. Wastewater compost, we increased that. That's like the sludge, pretty much sludge pickup. And we increased it based on the average. Infrastructure supplies, it's a little bit more just in case we need something. Gravel, same deal as before. They'll be working on repairs of the lines and they're going to need this to fix those. Wastewater testing, we increased that based on the average. Tools and rental, it's a little less just because we hadn't spent as much. So it's based on the average. OSHA and traffic safety, same as last year. Sewer penalties, now since we're in that agreement, or hopefully we'll get in it, we've just reduced that to $7,500, and hopefully we won't have to pay that much, but we've reduced that. Workers' comp, same, you know, it's just the price of it. Debt service, you'll see the difference in that. So if you'll see that first column, it was $39,260, and that's the part we're talking about paying off. That's the principal part. And so now it's going to 96 unless we paid that off. And the interest is 94.22, and that's all on that old loan. And then GIS, we're doing this is our grant match that hopefully we'll get the GIS grant, you know, from Field Trip or
But we did on the stormwater, and the 25 is not, our grant match isn't for that, but that's what they were going to. Our grant match is less
Okay,
It's less,
Sorry.
much less. That's okay. I
Okay,
mean, I didn't
yeah.
catch it either until I just saw that said grant match out there.
yeah,
But the 25 is for them to also do a GIS map of the entire sewer, all the sewer lines. That's the
Okay.
price they quoted us. From High Country, because they were able to get the grant for the stormwater. And there's a small match to that, and I think that's only
okay, but
$2,000 or
that's,
$3,000, $2,500 or
Okay.
something like that.
but that's what they're charging. So I'll just take that out. I'll just take that grant match out, and we'll know that's,
Yeah, and this would be, if we did, this would be for sewer mapping for GIS.
and then the next page is just the East Yancey
Can I
Sewer.
ask a question?
Yes, dear, sorry.
Is the Baker's Creek pump the one that pumps the water up from Mount Air?
No,
No, it's the one that pumps from, it collects from Alltech and the schools. It's a sewer system that goes down Baker's Creek.
and a mountain air too.
And Mount Air.
Yeah.
And then it takes to the water. Takes it to the sewer plant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mountain Air has their own water system on the mountain. We don't do anything with their water. We just treat their sewer.
We just treat their sewer. Okay, they don't get, okay.
No,
There's no water, but we do treat their sewer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Last page is the East Yancey Sewer District. It's no different than last year at all. And the expenses we've incurred for it this year, so far has not been much at all, like $5,500. And Brandy has sent me an Excel spreadsheet of what they've actually spent. So we're gonna be looking at that and
Yeah.
trying to figure out how much it will actually cost us. So. Okay, any questions?
Not right now.
All right, so based on this 3% increase at the end here, we'd have an excess of $23,144 before any cost of living adjustments.
And our proposal on the COLAs would be, what would we look it up as, 1.7?
1.7 based on the end of the year.
For hourly wage earners only.
Because we've been working to bring everybody else.
We've been
up to
working to
league
bring all
average.
of the department heads up to the league average, and we've done that over, split it into a 2-year change for
Yeah.
the salary, so, but we're proposing COLAs, just a COLA increase only for hourly wage.
And it was how much?
1.7. Yeah,
And a lot.
it wasn't a lot.
year.
That's it. Yeah, and that's at the end of this year because they've not posted for, the first quarter.
Right.
Yeah.
They probably won't for a
Hmm.
while. So,
I was a little surprised.
It is not much.
No,
No.
it isn't.
Take the sneeze.
I don't know. I mean, I can watch and see if you want me to, for them to update it again. And it's kind of early, so the league hadn't, nobody's really posted their, what they're doing as a whole. I think everybody's afraid to. So,
Yeah.
so. All right, Dylan, I think you're good to go unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Dylan.
All right, do you just want to do, fire and,
Yeah, let's do fire and,
okay.
let's do fire and brimstone.
Okay, so at the front, you go back to all this, so. Fire's right past police. It'll say fire department, side 530. Okay. Does anybody need help finding this?
Vortex.
Yeah.
It's before
Yeah.
that, right before
Yeah, it's
that.
right before that.
Far
Says
side,
town side.
530.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Teresa, did you find yours?
Okay.
Okay, all right. All right, so training stipend is 1,500, that's gone down some. Electric chief's office down just a little bit. Heating, oil, same as it was. Volunteer expense looks like been cut in half pretty much. Building maintenance, 4,000, same. Auto maintenance has gone up a little.
It's what?
It's gone up a little, looks like. All right, vehicle fuel, it's gone up a lot, but yeah, okay. Supplies and material has gone down 1,000. Dress uniforms is stated 1,000. With 106, well, no, 139. Oh, the debt service, yes, is 106, 666. Make it the total of 139, 785. Same as last year, and this debt service, you know, that's just the principal part of that.
Well, I don't know, I don't have any way of gauging what that's gonna be.
But you'll have, it'll be a fuel source. You're not.
It'll be natural
Okay.
gas. So the heating fuel and natural gas will replace and electrical too. So I don't know.
I think natural gas, well, from the guys that are doing our energy audit on everything, they're like, natural gas is the way to go
Well, on the heat side.
on the heat side, yeah, so. Okay.
Well. Okay, any questions about that side? All right, the next side. The labor, we've just got part-time, but it's all in this line here. It's up a little just because he's reallocated the second line up there. Training stipend on that side's 4,000. Healthcare match has gone away. The FICA is just reflective of those numbers. 401k is still, or I mean, it's small because Philip can actually still do it. Telephone and postage, same. Workers' comp is just the same as everybody else's, just the actual cost. Equipment maintenance has gone down 1,000. Dues and subscription is the same. Insurance is the same. Pump testing is down 500. Capital outlay is up. Okay, now do you want to say anything about that?
Quite a bit, because that was just we're thinking about what might come up with the needs of the building, you know, if we've got the needs come up and we start occupying the building, so wise to put a little extra in the capital, see. Make sure we got some funds to go to.
Yep. Volunteer replacement, same thing. Interest has gone down a little because we've made, you know, a few payments, and so I've just based that on the amortization schedule. Turnout gear is the same, and dues, members' retirement is the very same. This is a little bit more expensive than last year, but the revenue line is the same to offset it. So.
Actually, the last 4 quarters for the fire tax was 224,068.
224.
For the last 4 quarters.
Mm.
For 2019, it's 205,537, so we're still on 2019.
And it'll just stay in your savings. So,
We're excited for that.
yeah. Anybody have any questions?
I'm saving none for the next one.
Do what for the next one? Okay, well then you can backtrack here and go to the page before the 5:30. All right. Okay. Gave out that specific salary adjustment. So if you look here on the first line, Brian's, we were trying to make that more clear as well, like with Heather. You know, he's assumed the code enforcement, and he's spent quite a bit of his time to that. And so what we're doing is adding a line on the 420 side, and we're basing it 5 hours a week at $25 an hour rate. If you was to replace Brian with that, it'd be $6,500, which should be offset partially by permits and enforcement fees. We'll
I'm not in the
still go.
right place, excuse me. Where are we supposed to be right now?
510 police department.
Yeah,
Yeah.
510 police department. I was just kind of
I
giving you
just
the,
now realized we were
Yeah.
the police department.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just turned over and I realized that, so
Okay.
I'm not in the wrong place.
no.
So, okay, let me get there first. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Oh, it's fine. I was just trying to tell you that because when you look at Brian's salary, the chief's salary, it's the first thing on it, and it's less this year than last year, and I just thought that might draw some attention.
Just trying to separate them out, the duties.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
just,
We was
Yeah.
trying to say no.
Ah,
I'm not even at the police.
it's not defunded. Don't say that.
The chief's salary.
I
Yeah.
thought that was a nice way to put it. Just say
All
no.
right.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
I'm there
Okay.
now. I'm
All right.
sorry.
Oh,
I
honey,
did
you're
not
fine.
hear.
You're fine. You're fine. I know. I'm thinking if I wear my mask, you won't be able to
Okay.
hear me. All right.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we've got him plugged in at the league average now, the 63,022. The other part of his salary will come out of the 420 when we get there. You'll see it in there. Reserve, same as last year right now. Regular, same. Because it seems to be running fine at that rate with their average. Detective, the same. Special training, 2,000. So that's the same. Bonus is a little less. There might be some change, but
What is that salary? It says sergeant, I mean, what is that?
sergeant, that's the two
Got two
sergeants.
The two
So,
sergeants,
okay.
Yeah,
Who is the other one? I must be missing something.
Jason Chandler and Jonathan Bennett are our two sergeants.
yeah. Healthcare match. Well, since we got the tobacco attestation on some of these guys, it saved us some money.
Oh,
So,
okay.
since they're not paying and we're not paying. FICA, same pretty much, except a little tweak. The retirement match has gone up, so it's $5,700. Aflac, same. Workers' comp, it's up just because that's actually how much it cost based last year. Employee, the 401k, 5%, it's up just a little, just to make sure it's right. Telephone, same. Electric, police department, the same. Auto, maintenance and repair, it's down a little. We kind of decided that if Brian sells a car after next budget year, we'll amend it and recognize the revenue and increase this line.
Or is it, it's a car that got approved last time, we're taking out of COVID, but you know, what I'm talking about. We're hoping to be able to get rid of at least one, maybe two different vehicles that we have had, older vehicles. And use any proceeds from that, hopefully, has been to go back into auto maintenance repair to help with some of the ones we need to repair.
So, Brian, have you bought your car?
It's ordered, we haven't gotten it yet. There's
What'd you get?
it's a 6-cylinder Durango. I knew that would make her happy.
No, I thought, why are you supposed to specific? Because it's not a Hemi?
I
I
knew
don't
that
know.
would
Not a
make
Hemi.
her-
Not a Hemi. Okay, all right. So that's our plan for that line. Vehicle fuel, we've increased it just a little. Auto supplies, same. Alpha supplies, the same. Supplies and materials, the same. Special equipment's just down just a little. School board citations, the same. And there's the revenue to offset that. So, and green expense is the same. And there's the offset on the revenue is for that as well. Tech maintenance, they do have to have some stuff. Uniforms, he's gonna have to buy some uniforms, I think.
Mhm.
Communications is the same. Software agreement, that's just what it is. Regional training, same. No capital outlay, and special operations is down 1,000. So, you got anything else to say about that?
Brian, what is special operation?
That's, it just depends. In the past, that's been money we've had that sometimes we don't use. If we have narcotics type thing going on where we need to have money to facilitate that, that gives us a fund that we can drop. Before, when we had to do that, it was very difficult to come up with those funds to do that, although we get that money reimbursed most of the time. And then sometimes we've used that this year. I think the one expense came out of that of replacing some investigative equipment. Randall's main camera that we use for investigations gave out on us at a very
critical key time, and so we've replaced that, with this year, as that came out of this year's budget. But a lot of that money, you'll see, a lot of it doesn't get expended, and if we don't use it, it just stays in the fund.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Well, how many, I mean, like you have one reserve officer, is that somebody just calling a pinch?
Oh, we've got a pool.
Or they just rotate?
Well, we've got, Anthony Renfro has been with us for a long time, and he has a regular shift. He covers Saturday mornings and then fills in other times. And then we also use that reserve pool we have with other officers if we have guys that are out to help save on overtime.
So that's just kind of like, you just have that in reserve.
They just fill in for that, special occasions. Used to be craft fair was a big reserve time. Those kinds of things go on.
But there's somebody that's a regular policeman. I mean, are they regular policemen and you just call them when you need them?
No, these are officers that are usually sworn somewhere else, like pros with the school. We have some officers with the sheriff's office, officers like that.
Okay.
Some that are not sworn, they're just sworn here, but they have a full-time job somewhere else.
Well, that's kind of nice.
It
Well,
helps out.
how many regular policemen do we have? I don't even know.
8 counting myself total.
Oh,
8 full-time police officers.
and 2 detectives, no, 2 sergeants and 1 detective?
That's everybody.
Yeah,
That's part of
that's
that
our, so
whole-
they're broken
No,
up.
they're
Yeah,
part of
but-
the 8.
Yeah,
They're part of the 8.
yeah,
The,
The detectives are part of the
Yeah.
others?
Yeah.
We have 6 patrol, a detective, and myself.
Okay.
okay, so you're
Yeah, I
getting,
didn't even know.
the 6 will be in this regular policeman, is
4.
that right? 4?
And then 2 sergeants.
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
sorry. I
sorry.
said rear.
Well, the
Yeah.
sergeants are
They're in
separate
line.
though.
Yeah,
We have 2 that are rank of sergeant.
Uh-huh.
One is a 2,
We have 4.
one detective.
We have 4 that come out of just what's known as regular police. Then we have 2 sergeants, 1 detective, and myself.
One detective and 2 sergeants.
Yeah.
And that makes up, and yourself
That's
makes up part of
that's
the
8.
8?
That's 8 total, yeah.
A force of 8.
Yes, we are a force of 8.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to know that. I really did not. Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
okay.
Police force of 8. And then the reserves that you can call in from other sworn officers.
Yeah, they're all sworn. Some of them have other jobs with other agencies, and some of them just have other regular jobs.
Got you. Thank you.
All right, anybody have any more questions? Okay, if not,
Hold on. You want to
Okay.
go ahead and?
do we want to talk about, Denise, do we want to talk about the vehicles, the police
oh,
vehicles?
okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, we're budgeting right now. I mean, we're not anticipating any increase on the budget.
Judy won't like me after.
Well,
You want me to talk about it?
Maybe I
You
need
want
to
me
leave the room.
Well, I mean.
I'll start and you just jump in.
That sounds good.
All right.
That sounds good.
As part of evaluations, some of the conversations we talked about was, considerations going forward with the department. And some of my main concerns are retention of what we have and also recruitment whenever we have an opening. And Heather and I discussed that, and one of the things that came up that is very important to both officers that we have, and every time I have an opening and I'm doing interviews, is take on vehicles. It's a conversation that comes up. So she had asked me to get some sample policies from some other places, and I think maybe Denise had some thoughts on that, but that's kind of what we got. So some of the increase for vehicle fuel in there was sort of anticipation of maybe potentially changing that policy. Other places set a mileage limit outside of city limits or outside of county, depending on which type of agency. We are one of the few around that don't do some sort of take-home vehicle policy. There are some others, but we are one of the few. And then the ones that we lose people to are usually someplace that is, every officer that I've lost, that's always been a factor. They've always said, this place offered a take-home vehicle and you didn't. I'm not saying that was the only factor. I'm just saying it almost always is a factor.
So
So
Brian, why have we, I mean, I support their taking their vehicles home. Why has it not been that way?
why have we not done that in the past?
Yeah.
I think there's concerns about, the expense of the fuel that it may be. It never has been our policy, in the past, other than just, the chief and the detective were the only two that had those. We have policy in place governing how that vehicle has to be used as far as it can only be driven to and from work. It can't be used for them to go out and take their family to the grocery store or that type of thing. That language is all in our policy.
Yeah.
Our restriction's always been just, in the past, it's been detective and police chief, because we were the two technically kind of always on call.
So if we change this, when does it go into effect?
That would be up to you all, I would imagine. It's just, I know it had come up, and again, that's always been, with my evaluations that I did with my individual officers, that was mentioned 2 or 3 times by several officers as a concern they had of something they would like to see. For some of them, it's more important than the raise in their paycheck. It's a
Well,
bigger deal.
I think it's, certainly worth discussing and amending.
And, I mean, I know with gas prices going up, that is a factor, but also too, like, they idle so much in town and they really probably don't get over, so many miles per hour for so long. I mean, wouldn't that cut down too on like some of the repair costs for actually getting the cars up to, 55, 60 miles an hour for
It
a
is
little bit
my
more of a
opinion that,
distance?
there's just a lot of idling without very many, road miles, is hard on a vehicle.
You would think not, but it is.
It does seem to
Yeah,
be, that we wind up with different problems than maybe the county officers do, where they drive a lot of miles and don't have as many idle. We wind up with combustion problems, engine problems, those kinds of things, whereas they'll wind up with brake problems and those kinds of things where they're driving a lot of curvy roads. So you wind up with different issues, but it does seem like, in my opinion, if the vehicles were driven out some more often, it would probably be beneficial on those motors. I'm not a mechanic though, so I can't.
I think it's
I
a
don't
good
know.
idea
How
myself.
far, does Phil still live in Marion? Is he still?
He
in there,
does,
or-
and he would be, any mileage thing you would said, he would be outside of that. Other places have done things like set a mileage radius and then have the officer agree that if he wants to take his vehicle that lives beyond that additional mileage is something deducted maybe from his check to add it back into the fuel budget or something like that to help offset those costs. He would be the only one. Most of the policies we found have about a 25 mile radius or so. Again, it would be the board's discretion, but at that, he would really be about the only officer that would impact.
Well, I've noticed, there's a Buchan County
There is.
car, there's a Weaverville car.
He lives on Lincoln Park, yeah.
Yeah. Both those are in town, so those are probably more than 25 miles.
I think the Weaverville is one that I know of, is 25 miles, and then however they measure 20, maybe they go 25 by as the crow flies, I don't know. I would try to stick to like road miles, what the
Yeah.
actual driving miles would be. But I think that fits within their policy, but maybe not. I know we had a Weaver officer for a while park his vehicle at the shed,
Mhm.
and then,
Yeah, I remember
because he
seeing
lived further, so that happened for a short while. I think he moved at some point after that.
So Ron, are you bringing to us an amendment, or how do we?
I mean, if the board is open to that, I'm sure that a sample.
Yeah, I mean, I think we would just look at the policy, what we've already got, and then if we wanted to tweak it for someone to have to reimburse us for miles beyond a certain radius, and that would come back at a regular board meeting.
Okay.
Our current policy works for everybody that's, close enough. There might just be some sort of provision put in there for people that live beyond a certain radius, because we don't have any language in there about that.
Well, I certainly hope we'll address that. At a regular meeting, is what I'm
Right,
saying.
we just wanted to, I mean, we don't have a policy set in, that we prepared for you guys to
Right.
vote on tonight. It's of course not on our agenda, but just, that's part of the whole budgeting process, thinking about
Okay, so it'll
certain
come up,
policies that might affect
it'll
budget.
come up
but-
in a board meeting.
But you did say there is some sort of a policy.
We have some examples from some other places. We can just kind of modify that. to
Not
our
from
needs.
here.
Yes.
We have something in our personnel policy that deals with vehicle use generally for all employees, not just employees.
We have talked about this in the past, and I don't remember exactly what was.
Okay, so are we still on his budget or what?
Well, I was gonna tell you, if you wanna just go to the very first of your packet,
To the
to the revenue.
revenues, going back
Yeah,
over their
back- if you
revenues
just wanna
page.
start first and we'll work back to Brian's, yes. We've covered all that back, so.
I guess we can just start with revenues.
All right. All right, so everybody,
Where is, I've got my pages mixed up. Revenue.
I bet it should be your first
Yeah,
page where it says.
Yeah, but I've got
She's
things
got-
piled on top of that.
uh-oh,
It's this
okay.
one.
How about 10/31/0600?
That's it.
Yeah, you're
That's it.
there.
There's the second, there, and then there's the second page, so. All right, so tax advertising costs, very same. Property tax for tens dropping out, 11. We've reduced all of these old property taxes to just actually the real property.
And the reason for that is if you go and look at, you can look back at last month's sheet on what was owed for past years. You know, the personal property amounts are very small. And those are a compilation of, you know, we're not gonna sue somebody for $31 back in, you know, 2016 or something like that. The biggest one in 2013, that $1,800 on the personal property was, 1,200 of that was for inventory down at the Chevrolet place. It's long gone and there's really no way to collect on it. So I told Leslie, I said, to make it look more accurate, let's just look at what we've got left in real property. We actually could probably do something with maybe.
Yep,
That's logical.
okay.
Well, when somebody owes money on real taxes on real property,
Right. Then if they
if
ever
they
sell the
try to
property,
change, it changes hands. Is
then
there
it
a
has to
lien
be
on it?
paid. Yes,
It has to be paid.
yes.
Good, thank you.
So you got a better chance of getting it than you do on some, you know, office equipment somebody had for a
No,
business
that
that
you can
left
forget.
10 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, so if you look at all those, we've scaled those back just to actually what those are. And you can go on down to 17, that's where it actually gets to be a little bit more substantial. That's still the same thing, 18, 19, down to 20, and then I'm adding the 21 taxes. And you know, if you'll remember from last year, we can only budget for the percentage collected in this current year we're in.
What percentage is that?
96 point something.
It's a good
It
percentage.
is, it's very good. Payment in
We
lieu
may
of
get more
tax,
than that.
yeah, we may.
I mean, we've sent out more letters, so.
So,
Oh,
let's hope we'll adjust accordingly. So, payment in lieu of tax, we scaled that back to, or we kept it at 100. I know that it was a little up this year, but we think that the people at the apartments are doing some work and they probably
They are,
won't
they're gonna
be.
do over $1 million worth of renovations over there, so,
Over where?
over at,
Northwest,
Northwest Regional Housing at Woodland Hills.
Yeah.
So,
and so the way that they explained that to me, the way that works is they have to wait till they have their audit, and then whatever profit they make or whatever, then they send us a percentage as payment in lieu of tax. So if they're doing that kind of work, I'm not thinking they're gonna have any kind of profit left. But tax penalties and interest, just base that on the average. Vehicle tax, same as last year, based on average pretty much as well. Interest income, let's hope we can make $1,000. The PAL, we've reduced that a little bit on the interest on that. Miscellaneous revenues, we had increased that this year to offset the expense on that parking lot, that insurance claim where we had looked on the street side, it was 36, but anyway. So that's the same. Insurance reimbursement from retirees, got a recent retiree who just wants to keep doing have their insurance this way, so they're gonna reimburse us and pay it this way. Reimbursement from the ABC Board for Insurance, that's the cost of it, and you'll see the expense line as well on the next page or two. Utility franchise, we've adjusted it down a little just on the leaks projection of the utilities. PAL bill revenues, we've adjusted that down a little, 1,000. Okay, then the next is the fire tax. And that's the actual amount that's on the budget side as well. The fire department grant is 5,000, should be the same. Police department revenues, this is just for little checks like for accident reports, little miscellaneous things. So it's just it's 200. City citations, that's on a city street or like a noise, some kind of things like that. And we don't do very many of those. State citations. I actually did not do that one right. So I'm gonna have to increase that. So that's gonna help our bottom
That
line.
dropped off a little bit right there.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see what you did though.
Yeah.
You just duplicated the next line.
I did. Yeah. Okay. So the ABC service is the next line. So I'll have to fix this 8,000 here for the state citations.
Should that be the 25?
It should be the
Yeah.
25, which is going to help our bottom line by
Mhm.
13,000. Yay.
That's a good mistake to make.
I know. I hate I didn't see it till then. Okay, the ABC services, it looks like that we've just based that on the average. And then the police grant, it's at 25 based on the expense line as well. They're getting a grant that's no match. Special operations, I think you just talked about that with Brian. Community promotions, we had just added that line to reflect when we got that $500, so it was supposed to go to the chamber. I had amended the budget and added it in there. Security deposit for the BTC, $100, so that's the same as it was. Facility fees, we're keeping it the same as last year and hoping that we'll do better than this, so hoping so. Concession fee, we cut that in half because it doesn't seem like maybe they're gonna have as big an event like that. Court costs and arrest fees, more Brian's money here. Building permits,
More Brian.
more Brian. We scale that back a little because we're not sure how many people we're gonna have to build right now. All right, the state, return of the 2% state sales tax. We have done so good on sales tax this year. And, you know, everybody was so afraid last year and we were very, very conservative with it. So, but we're trying to be conservative as well this year with it.
This is how many quarter, this 265,000, how many, that's
3 months coming out of it. And so that'd be like 7 months worth pretty much.
Yeah. Because the audit requires us not to count
The first 2 months.
the first 2 months.
But then this next year, they pull that back into this year. So it's real screwy. I know, because the sales tax is 2 months behind, you know, paying out to it. So they're looking at it as actually that belonged to
But when
last
you
year.
actually get it, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
this is when you spend it.
the ABC sales tax, we just based it on what we had gotten last year. And it's only paid out one time and it's in May, so we've not gotten it this year yet, so. Solid waste disposal tax, just based on pretty much what we had gotten. That's kind of hit and miss. You just never really know when you're gonna get it till you see it pop up in the email. Zoning and compliance fees, we just based that on the average so far. ABC profits, we know they're gonna, you know, build, and we're just still hoping they'll have some there to give us, but we're conservative with it, give it the same as last year. Didn't put anything in the COVID funds. The chamber for the crafts fair is the $3,600. You know, if we have the crafts fair, they'll need to pay us that. I left the carryover for capital outlay for the elevator open to see what you guys wanted to do.
We're still gonna do it, aren't we?
I mean, we can carry it
Yeah,
over,
we can
yeah.
carry it.
We
I just
just-
wanted to see what you want me to do.
We don't have a price estimate, but I do have a call tomorrow morning with a, architect, from Asheville, that will let me know when they can come and look and maybe do some estimating on what would have to be done, so.
Well, I'm certainly hoping to get that done.
Would you like for me to continue to carry that 106?
Well, if you don't, what are you gonna do with it?
Well, we just, I mean, it'd just be there in the pot, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just sitting
I
there.
think it should definitely be there for the elevator.
Okay.
Talk about it and talk about
All right, so I want to go ahead and make a note to increase that.
it.
All right,
And that Halloween memorial, we always get it every year. I
yeah.
mean, does it just sit there? I mean,
Well, it's the revenue line. So if anybody buys benches, now they're up to $600 a piece. And we talked about this. We don't really have any more room for benches. And then once they buy them, then we're responsible to take care of them. And these benches are getting old and not in as good a shape as they were.
are,
Yeah,
they
so
are.
we're going to look at having to replace those. So we were talking about stopping selling them, you know, thinking maybe something different.
Well, I mean, I think the benches add, I mean, so when they, rot or fall through, I mean, what, we just don't replace them, is that what you're saying?
Well, I think we're kind of responsible to replace them after somebody bought them.
Oh, well, that would not go on forever.
Well, I'd hope not.
We haven't had any,
Don't
but
know.
what we're saying is that this year, we are not anticipating anybody, any
Yeah.
sales, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you,
Yeah.
okay.
Do people think that it's still a program that's out there? Are people under the impression they can still,
I mean, I think it's been
Kind of died
a long
down.
time since anybody's really even inquired about
Yeah.
it.
and we don't have any warehouse anywhere, do we? I mean,
Oh, no, you have to order them.
they have to be ordered
You
at the
have to order
time
two
they're
at a
sold,
time.
right?
You have to order two at a time.
Oh,
They're
so this- I
expensive,
see,
yeah.
got you,
So,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we've had a hard time trying to find where to place them the last times that we've had
Yeah.
them.
And how much do the benches themselves cost?
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
$600.
So they
apiece.
are two for $1,200.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And the plaques are very expensive as well. I mean, when you look at those, so.
I had some kind of question and I've already forgot what it was.
Well, you remember it. We'll go back.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
then the next one is the governing body. So planning board compensation, that's just that Christmas bonus we give out to the planning board since they don't get any compensation. Mayor's salary, the same, counselor's same, Chad, or town clerk here, it's decreased a little. Bonus line is up a little. Healthcare, it's up a little. And FICA is down a little, retirement match is down just a little, and the 401k match is a little bit, down a little bit.
I guess I had a question over here
Okay.
about building permits, and Brian, it said, but I thought building permits had to be gotten down at the county.
We contract with John.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We actually issue the town as a permit. We contract him to do all the inspections.
Oh, but
So they do all their paperwork at town hall, turn everything, pay their fees at town hall,
uh-huh.
and then I send that paperwork on to him, and he does all the site inspections.
But we get the revenue from, but we sell the
Yes.
permit ourselves?
We do.
Oh, I thought that I thought that they also sold the permit. No,
Not
okay.
in city limits, yeah. We get that revenue, but then we contract with him to do the inspection.
Oh, but we actually sell the permit.
Yes.
Okay, but that's all we do in that regard.
Yeah.
But he does the inspection.
He does all the site inspections, yes.
And the county, I mean, I knew that, but they do the paperwork and stuff.
No, I do the paperwork.
You actually do the paperwork as well as for in-town
Yes.
permits.
Yes.
Okay, I just didn't realize that. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Keeping in talent.
Jack of all trades.
Well, I just,
Master
but
of none.
I thought he had to do do everything that had, when we contracted with him, that he did everything had to do with the permitting process.
He just
But
doesn't.
that you had, anything that had to do with the coding and all that kind of stuff had to be, that you had to okay it all.
Yeah, that's kind of the way we've been handling is we do all the permitting and all the paperwork and turn that into the office. And I've been maintaining that and we just contract him to do the inspections.
Okay. All right, on the 420 on the administration side. Okay, first thing is the administrator salary, if you'll notice, it's the same as on the other side when I was looking at on the water side. I had to go down a little farther in lines till I could add that in-house counsel when I was looking at the actual line numbers. But, and then you'll see the finance officer line. I had been more of a split. I had been heavier on the sewer side last year, so I'm an even split now. So it's down on that side and up on this side. Tax collection clerk, same as last year. Building inspector. So here, Bunny, is where we pay John England. Okay. So here's this in-house counsel line. Zoning admin. So here's where we were talking about Brian. You know, where we're decreasing his chief side, we're increasing and I'm sitting on this side. The bonus line, a little less. Planning and maintenance, same. Health insurance is a little bit more. ABC insurance expense, same as on the revenue side. They're just reimbursing us to carry their employee. FICA is just a little bit more. Retirement batch is quite a bit more. 401k, just a little bit more. Retiree health care coverage, that's the same as the revenue where we had said we had somebody that recently retired who wanted to keep their insurance and reimburse us. Telephone, a little bit less. Building maintenance is a little bit more because we've got some stuff we need to look at doing. And electric at the townhouse the same. Auditing fees have gone down some. Professional services is the same in case we need those. Office machines is the same. Training and travel's down a little. Advertising's down a little. Office supplies is the same. Postage is the same. Office expense miscellaneous is the same. Sales tax paid out of state on this side is a little bit more. Dues and subscription and penalties is the same. Tech maintenance and software, it's up a little. We've just, that's the same thing. It's the other half, the Southern supplement. We have to pay for them to load the taxes in. Have to pay for Janus and all this other stuff. And tech upgrades is if we need any purchase things. Miscellaneous operational expense, back to the employee miscellaneous affairs. So if you do anything for employees, you can use this line. We've got 4,000 between the two lines to do that with. Tax refunds is the same. Workers' comp, you'll see that same number just because it's what it's cost us. Election expense we've added this year because it's an election year and it's just based on the last time that we had one. Capital outlay, I'll go ahead and plug that in for that elevator, that 106. And then this general fund reserve balance line, that'll be any excess we have will go in that line. That's the balance line for this whole fund. The Hamlin Memorial, we just didn't put anything in there because we were talking about, we didn't figure we were buying or selling any benches. And OPEB, 25,000. Any questions?
Hey, there, I got a question.
Yep.
Did we have to retain additional counsel when we were going through that thing with sanitation last year?
Yes.
Okay, I just noticed there wasn't anything under professional services. I didn't know if it must have been paid somewhere else. I didn't know if we actually retained additional counsel or not.
Yeah, and it was paid out of the
Didn't they take it out of the proceeds?
we took it out of professional services. We took it out of professional services used to be, when I was just contracted, it was legal and auditing.
Yeah.
So it was more, so it came out of that line.
Okay, I got you.
Now we could use the professional services though.
Yeah. Now we've got that professional, so we could use it if we.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, now to the town center, so. let's see. Okay. All right, the labor line is still at 50, same as last. Corbin seems to be doing a good job and he's got a new employee to help him some part-time. Bonus has gone down a little. Cleaning, labor, maintenance, and contracted services, the same. Healthcare has gone down just a little. FICA's the same. Retirement's up just a little. 401k match down just a hair. Communications the same. Utilities are the same. Cleaning and maintenance is down just a little. Supplies and materials is the same. Print and binding is the same. Concession is the same as the revenue line. And tech upgrades is the same. Dues and subscription is up just a little based on the average. And building maintenance upgrades is 2,000. Same as before.
Where's our new roof in here?
That'll
It's
come
already,
out of this
yeah.
budget, the one we're currently in, not the new budget.
Oh,
Yeah.
We'll already do
oh,
it.
yeah.
We
We're
amended
doing
it.
that. This is, right.
I know it's confusing.
It is
There's so much.
confusing, especially when you get to
But
the
this,
end.
let's see, but we're just, it's gonna be done in before July.
Yeah, it'll be done, Chad. Shooting for the end of June, yeah. So
Oh, okay.
It should be done
End of
before
fiscal
July.
year.
But the money's appropriated in the current budget we're in.
Yeah, but I was thinking, I didn't know it would be done before July.
Okay, next we move to community promotions. All right, and this is what they've asked, sent in a request for. Playhouse is 25, same as last year. Library, 3,000, same as last year. The EDC is 20, same as last year. And track, the same as last year. The COG is up just a little bit because they've increased their fees just a small portion. Let's see, the History Association, same as last year. TBA, same as last year. Crafts Fair is the same as last year. And community promotions, the same as last year.
Now, didn't we generally spend more than that in years, I mean,
Community promotions.
yeah, that was for the events on the square,
Mhm.
but.
Well-
We were probably spending that 3,000 this year for the July event.
Okay,
But I anticipate because the chamber is interested in picking up the ball to do
okay.
the summer evenings on the square that we've done for 4
Okay.
or 5 years.
All right, well, do you need me to increase that?
No, I just think that we will probably always do the July 4th event, but then this year and in maybe years to come, because we kind of do it in connection with the county doing the fireworks and we do something patriotic on the square. And the other events, if all goes as we hope, Christy and I'll talk to you more about it. We hope the chamber will pick up those events and follow the procedures that I have outlined along with the sponsors. So
Okay.
it should be fine.
Okay. Well, I mean, if
We're
you,
not gonna do that this year because of COVID. We will do the 4th of July, but that's no.
okay, do you think there's nothing in here for the
I
4th of
think
July
so.
then?
I think
Okay,
so.
Okay. All right, School of Government's just a little bit up. Parking lot rentals the same. Public arts the same. Traditional Voices is, they're asking for 500 more. They're asking for 2,000.
And they did not get a,
They didn't get this
they
last
didn't
year,
get any
did they?
money for this past year that was
I don't think
budgeted
so.
for them.
And
Yeah.
is Parkway Playhouse even gonna open this year? Cause you know what I mean? Like, cause I know they said that they weren't gonna do anything until COVID was truly over.
And I do not know, Chad has,
Two events in General Square.
yeah, they're planning 2 events in June on the square. I think Denise and y'all should have copies of their applications for the grant money. But I think they mainly are using it they use it typically for admin, not for productions, so to speak, but for operating costs, for
They mostly do it for, they're doing it for youth education, that kind of stuff. I
Yeah, they
think.
did it for youth
Zoom.
education before in this, on the, I don't know, I haven't looked at
For
their.
camps and that kind of, I don't know what it's, they're planning to do some kind of things, I think, but. Did we give traditional voices, we had said nobody would ask for more money, hadn't we? But if traditional voices, did they get money last year?
No, they did
If
not.
they didn't, then
They rescinded their money for last year.
yeah, so if they got nothing last year, then I think we could increase them this year.
All the classes for you, expanding some of the summer opportunities for you.
Yeah, that's what they're
Hopefully
planning.
back in the theater in the fall.
It's supposed to be back
What
to
year?
theater in the fall.
Okay.
But it's based in, they're using this money to develop youth programs online and summer camps,
Sounds
things
like
like,
what's happening.
yeah.
Okay, the
Planning.
Christmas decorations do take a beating, and I would just like,
Yes.
if there always be $1,000 there to repair, to buy what is needed,
Okay.
minimum.
That's fine, 1,000,
Doesn't want to look beautiful.
okay. I know this one usually seems to be the one we talk most about, so I kind of just left it open on what,
That's okay, no, but I just, we always
Yeah.
making some repairs to
Yeah.
the decorations.
yeah. I'm all about Christmas too. Okay, the crafts fair was, we were the same, media promotions, yeah, we've covered that, sorry, parking lot down to traditional voices. How do you feel about an extra 5 on the traditional voices?
I've forgotten who the traditional voices are.
They do the Riddle Fest
Yeah.
every year
Oh.
Yeah.
here at the town center, right?
It's almost there.
So they rent the town center from
And that
us.
was the plan last year.
So have they looked
And I
at this?
believe that was October.
Did they get any money last,
Uh,
they got no money either last year and they didn't do Riddle
No, they didn't do
So-
that.
Fest last year.
Tell me, what is it, the literary festival, have they booked?
They're gonna Zoom,
They're
they said.
virtual. They're virtual.
Oh,
They said they would, it'd be a virtual, that's what they said on their computer, on the
I couldn't
application.
remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Virtual. And they said they would use the money for to set up the virtual, didn't they, apparatus? What was
I
it?
believe so, yeah.
I don't
Look at it again. To hire a local person to help set up and host the Zoom sessions. And the rest are helping volunteers to help with the rest. And also used for author honorarium.
Yeah,
Okay,
and they didn't get any money apparently last year either.
no, they didn't
There's a
have,
blank
they
here,
didn't have.
because they
it
didn't
last
have
year.
it.
Okay,
Okay, just put me 1,000 in there if you don't mind. When I say me, I mean it's us for the decorations.
Okay.
That will be used.
all right. And you want to leave the literary festival at 1,000?
Well, is that what they requested? Or not?
Yeah.
They doubled their request, haven't they?
Well,
3,500 from 17.
oh, the literary
No.
council,
The
sorry.
literary festival.
Oh, the literary festival,
yeah.
yeah, 1,000.
Yeah, 1,000. Yeah, the literary council has.
Well, no,
The literary
they
festival.
we gave them, they asked for the same
Oh,
amount last
okay.
year. We just gave them half of it. That was a new funding last
Yeah.
year.
I remember that now. And
Well, I
then we,
think we had said no increases if we gave them 1,750 last year. I'm sure they're a worthy organization, but I don't know that we should increase them, but anybody else that has an opinion, go ahead and just,
You're saying the literary festival?
I'm talking about the literary
Yancey
council,
Council.
Yancey
The
County
last
Literary
one down
Council.
there at the bottom.
The literacy.
Literary.
Literacy, sorry, literacy
No
council.
wonder.
I kind of agree with Bunny, so.
Okay, we can leave
We
them
can-
at the same. And
okay,
then we've heard nothing from Luthier.
everything, right? It's like,
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah, that's been a year.
All right, so if you don't want to give increases, then do you want to do the traditional voices increase then? Or do you want to stay with the 15?
Well, the Literary Council did get their funding last year, and the Traditional Voices Group did not get any funding last year.
That's
So I
true.
think that's maybe why they.
Yeah, I was thinking it wouldn't hurt to increase the, Riddle Fest. The traditional voice is by isn't it just a $500 increase?
It is. I
If they
just
got
wanted to
no
make
money
sure.
last year,
Yeah,
you know.
okay, that's fine.
So last year, the Literary Festival did get their $1,000.
No,
No, okay.
the Literary Council got their Literacy
Literacy.
Council.
Oh, okay.
And he's got me off on literary.
There's something ironic about this whole conversation.
Yeah.
I believe.
They don't know how to read.
Literary Council wants to double it this year.
Well, that's what they asked for last year, the
Yeah.
3,500, and we
Right.
gave them 1,750.
Right,
Yes.
yeah. No, I thought you said Literary Festival. And I'm
No,
like,
no, no, no,
Oh,
no.
Lord, literary and
And I
literacy.
believe we said last year, or maybe it was year before last, nobody should ask for an increase this year. Well, as it turned out, no, a lot of people didn't even have their event last year, so,
Yeah.
and didn't get anything. They didn't use what they were given.
Yeah,
So,
and that's true.
Okay,
Yeah.
Christmas decorations.
I got your Christmas decorations. Okay, all right, down below is the Yancey Chamber and Whammy that both asked for
Well,
3,000.
I mean, what is the chamber wanting that for? Did they spell it
I don't
out?
know, Chad, did they put in their application?
I mean,
I
I
guess-
thought-
When you were saying that community promotion, I wondered if that's what they were wanting it for.
Well, they're not gonna do it this year,
Okay.
because we're gonna do the July 4th, and, I mean, she still hasn't got her act together about it, we have to go over things with her, but I told her my recommendation is not to do it until we pass this summer and the variance, I just wouldn't go there.
On their application, it says they're requesting funding to support a program of music in the downtown area.
Yes, and that's when I caught wind of it, and I talked to her, and I said, you know, I've already got it set up, I mean, you just need to take my blueprint and go for it, and get sponsors. Like $1,000 from Alantech, and $1,000 from Lynn Raven, and so on, so I don't know that she's gonna do it this year.
Okay.
I mean, I really kind of, you know, now, in doing that, in assuming that, I mean, I was under the impression that she would not be picking it up until next summer, when we hope everybody is alive and well. And I said that the town would certainly be happy to work, help sponsor it in one way only, and that is, and you'll have to prove it, that we will give you the platform at no cost. When we set up the platform, what
The
is
stage.
Yeah.
Stage.
Yeah.
That we would do that, but the rest is yours to, pull off.
They're just trying to get their $3,600 back that we charged them for stuff.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
a little confused about the Whammy one too.
they
Is that
asked.
not a state or federal funded?
Well, did they spell out, Ted, what they would do? Is this the first time we've ever?
they
done
said
this?
they rehabilitate
First.
homes, mostly for the
Teachers.
elderly, and the
Whammy
people
does?
who are below the poverty level.
For the
Thanks.
food, right, for the-
Excuse me, children.
Applying for funding to assist with housing repairs for low-income families as part of the Yancey County Community Coalition. That will assist the families whose repair needs are beyond the scope of our other housing programs due to issues such as living low home, rental housing, lack of funding, and our regular programs, etc.
Well, why don't they go to the county? The county has a whole lot more money than you ever had.
We're repairing the sidewalks so the elderly don't fall and break their hips.
Right.
That's
Other
not funny.
vices.
I'm sorry I said that, that was mean.
I'm not for funding Whammy.
We left it out. of
Yeah.
Oh.
You know.
I didn't include
Really
that.
not for either one of those.
Yeah. I didn't include it when I figured the
Yeah.
total bottom line on
Well,
it.
I think the chamber, I mean, you know, they need to do what I tell them to do.
Maybe you need to be on the board.
Knowing Christie a little bit, working with her on stuff, I think she was just maybe trying to do an outreach, like
She was,
maybe to do
and
like a little coordination thing and.
she's very she's like an energized bunny, and I think
She
she'll be
is.
fine.
So,
But I really don't, I'm not for it.
no, and I'm not saying I'm for it either, I'm
No,
just
I
saying
know.
that, you know, I don't think it came from a bad place.
No.
No.
I mean, you
No,
never
she's
know
not
unless
a
you
bad
ask, I
person.
guess.
No,
is what
no,
she's
no.
saying.
Now, what were our categories? I don't have it up on the computer, but our categories were history, art,
Education,
Education.
Oh,
agriculture,
gosh, I can't remember
Yeah,
that.
I can't remember
economic
that.
development. Yeah. I think
Was
those
that-
were the ones.
I'm surprised that the
Jeopardy?
farm. That's her name. That's in the
I don't know
here.
what's going on over
that doesn't exactly fall in
What?
those categories. It might be economic development.
I think you.
Were you talking about tractor?
Yes.
Yeah, I sent them an email earlier on so they know about it.
We didn't, okay.
Well, do y'all want to leave it at what we've got here,
Yeah.
other than the literacy council will go
Oh.
to 1750, and
Right.
then Christmas
Right.
decorations will be 1,000.
Yes, I think that's good.
Okay.
What about the traditional voices? I mean, what do we decide on the?
Oh. I thought we said 2,000, did we say?
I think they
2,000?
kind of decided that they do
Okay.
too.
Okay, I didn't hear you.
Since we didn't get anything last year, they said.
Okay.
Okay, all right. No chamber and no whammy, is that right?
I mean,
far
I
as
think
I'm
that
concerned.
what she wants to do, she'll be doing it next year. And I will guide her through it. If she obeys me, she'll get it done. So really, I mean, it's-
Okay, well, we've made our way through
That's everything.
all of it, yes. And at the end of the general fund, before I see my mistake here, we had $20,853 left over, so that'll increase, I think, 13,000.
oh, okay.
So the increase that we just, I think, discovered will
On that
fund the
water and sewer.
COLA.
Yeah,
Well, I just would like to compliment Leslie, you and Heather for your,
it's been Leslie,
well,
not
I
as
know.
much Heather. I've just been there to
Well, and I can't,
listen.
I cannot believe I made this mistake. I'm just,
Well, and I want to
Sick
thank
about
the
that.
department heads for throwing in there.
Yeah, they all
Still.
were.
2 cents.
So thank you all very much. Especially you, Leslie. You did a
you're
good
very
job.
welcome. And Chad's been very good and wordy today. He's been
Yeah.
consistent,
Oh,
so he's
yeah.
worked hard today.
Well,
I'm certainly not wordy. I might need to look into that literacy thing.
I what I'm gonna do with y'all.
For literary.
Well, does this, I gather this concludes our items on the agenda.
It does.
And so, having said that, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make that one.
Is there a second? Second, are we all in agreement, Russell?
Well, how
Yes.
do y'all feel about the budget? I mean,
I
do you
think
feel
it's good.
okay?
Yeah.
Looks good.
I mean,
I think it looks good.
are you okay with the 3%?
Yeah,
You didn't
I
hear
thought we'd
any
already
complaints?
decided that.
I mean,
Okay, I'm just making
Yeah.
sure.
You didn't hear any complaints, did you?
We already
No.
told Jackie she's
Yeah.
okay.
Is
Well,
Jackie all right with 3%?
She's okay.
I know it's not easy.
Well,
Girl.
well, I had the stomach virus this weekend, so I was having a little push.
Oh,
But it's okay. Oh, yeah, we got food, because I thought we should feed you guys.
I'll make a point.
We need to call,
I'm out.
try to get the
Bye.
infrastructure.
Have fun picking your team.
Or whatever it is, so we can get some money for our infrastructure.
I was gonna close out my computer.
Are
but
we-
I
are
can't
we-
figure it out.
Are we off?
I think we
Are we off? I will make one very